Hello, teammates. Welcome back to the special edition of the fourth quarter where we have two guests this evening instead of just one. As usual, the goal of this series is basically to inform, educate, and inspire maybe someone who is thinking about having a career overseas, or just a casual basketball fan, or a vet that needs some more information to fulfill their career. I am very happy to have my next guest on tonight. This is a thing that I'm really excited about every guest, but this one is a special one for me. The guest for tonight's episode of the fourth quarter is an absolute legend here in Germany, and someone that I've respected from afar for what he does on the court, also off the court. He's a family man. He's a giver to his community back home. No foreign player in the history of the German Bundesliga, the top league here in Germany, has scored more points than my guest, Rickey Paulding. Rickey is 39 years old. It's his last season. He's going to retire after this season. He's playing with the EWE Baskets Oldenburg, where he's played for, I think, 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, which is an unreal amount of years with one team. We'll get more into that a little bit later as well. He is playing in his 18th season total, and he played in countries such as Israel and France before coming to Germany. He's a former second-round NBA draft pick by the Detroit Pistons, and he is the only person that I know, the only player that I know of that has a mural outside of the arena where they play. And I'm not talking about a little block on the wall with a picture. This thing is crazy. I'm going to show you guys a picture in a little bit. And I also love his nickname that they call him in Oldenburg, which is Pauldingborg. I also played in Oldenburg some years ago, so I know how the deep connection of the fans in Oldenburg is. So he also conducts basketball camps back home with his organization, RP23 Athletics, and I find that to be a very noble thing. And so let's get Rickey on right now. See if we get him in here. Go live. Okay, where is he not showing up? Accept.
What's
There
up?
we go. Rickey, what's up, my man?
How's it going?
Great. Thanks for coming on my live event. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
So let me tell everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Let me tell everybody a little bit about how we met. Actually, I don't even know if you remember this, Rickey. Back your first season in Oldenburg, we played against each other when I was in Jena. The first game we played in Jena, and the second game, by the second time we played you guys, they had fired the coach, and I was actually coaching in Oldenburg against you guys. I don't even know if
I do remember that.
You remember
I remember that. I do remember that, yeah.
So that was a crazy story in itself. But yeah, I played in Oldenburg some many moons ago. And the thing is you and I have never actually had a conversation, you know. And the thing with you joining this right now actually came from someone who made a request for this show. And I think I asked, who would you like to see on the show or something like that. And this person, I hope you're watching, said that they would like to see you on here. And then I hit you up like, yo, are you going to come on? You down? And you were like, right away, you were like, I'm down. So
yeah, no problem, man.
that's how this came to be. And I really appreciate taking time out of your night and joining me for this. I tried not to take up too much of your time. I know this is your final season, and it's maybe not going according to plan, but I just wanted to tell you, from one pro to another, keep your head up, man. Everything will be okay.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, so let's get you started. Basically, the rules are, I got you on a clock for 10 minutes, just like a normal fourth quarter of a game, hence the name fourth quarter. You don't have any time limit for your answers. Just, we have like 10 minutes. If we go a little bit
Right.
It happens.
I got you.
After that, then we'll go a quick question round of about 15 questions where there'll be short answers from your side. And then that'll be it.
Sounds
Ready
good,
to
man.
go?
Yeah,
All right.
let's do it.
Then let me start the clock. Okay. So, um, we're talking about contracts and your standard European contracts and some things that are normal in contracts over here. And one of the things that I had in the last week and also the last segment was this first question, which is when you came out of college, did you have more than one contract offer? And if you did, was the money the deciding factor in where you decided to go?
Coming out, I did have more than one contract offer. I, for me, I think money was the deciding offer, and also the opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
My first year out, I went to Jerusalem in Israel, played for Hapoel, and I had a player there that I knew and kind of admired, and William Avery, and so I was like, I wanted to go play with him. And I think the other offer was maybe from Serbia and Belgrade, and I didn't know too much about that. And so, I thought that Israel was probably the safest bet for me.
Mm-hmm. When you were a rookie, do you remember having it written in your contract what happens if you got injured? Like, did it stipulate anything about the length of time you would be out if they sent you home or things like that?
No, like I don't remember any of that. I was very young. Fortunately for me, I didn't get injured, but I think I had a pretty good contract in Israel. I don't think it was any. You hear a lot of horror stories about guys having bad contracts and dealings with injuries, but I think I had a pretty good contract where they were, um, it was a good contract where it wasn't anything where if I got injured, I get cut or I
Mm-hmm.
could go home or anything like that. So I was fortunate in that aspect.
I mean, from the contracts that I had and that I knew about, normally it was pretty much the standard 6 weeks. If you're out longer than 6 weeks, then they can kind of start looking for someone else or
Yeah,
things like that. But usually it depends on if they really liked you or not, if they would keep you longer and things like that. So I guess it varies from team to team.
yeah, I think so.
Um, so now let's get a little bit more into the contract stuff about the money stuff. Um, One of the provisions that are in pretty much every contract that I ever had, and I know a lot of guys that have and girls that have the same thing is the question of bonus money, the provision about bonus money. Some
Mhm.
places you have per game, some you have if you make it to the playoffs, you get a bonus, a big bonus. If you win the championship, of course, there's a bonus. Or for every round in the playoffs that you go in, you get more bonus money. How was it when you first came over? Do you remember if there were a lot of provisions as far as bonus money, or did you get bonus money when you first came over?
Yeah, I had all those. I had the game bonuses and bonuses for making the playoffs, and I think we were in the European competition too, so we had
Mm-hmm.
bonuses for those. And so, like I said, I was pretty lucky with my first contract. I was able to go to a good team and a good organization, and yeah, so I had those things, and I've throughout my career I've had those things in my contracts, and so I guess um, the I guess I had to thank my agent for that, for making sure those things were in there.
How
And
sorry, how involved were you with your agent as far as the bonus money goes? Did you talk to him and say, hey, this I would like in my contract?
I didn't. First off, I didn't know anything about that stuff,
Mhm.
And then
What
as
about
as I got
as you
older and
got
the more
older?
I played, yeah, the more I played, and I started talking to the good thing in Israel, I had a lot of veterans on my team, and
Mhm.
so they were able to kind of tell me the game a little bit, and then as I got a closer relationship with my agent, then we were able to talk about some of those things, um, and actually those things helped me, kind of, stay in Oldenburg, kind of, make the money that I want to make, but also, not be, not take away too much money from the budget.
Right, right. So another helpful provision that's in a lot of guys and girls contracts are flights. And I know you've got a
Hmm.
family, and I had a family, or I still have a family. Um, Not had.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, family. Sorry. Uh, yeah, and so how was it for you with provision of flights because, of course, as an American, you want to have your family, your friends over. I know one guy that was playing in Peristeri, Athens that I knew. He had something like 7 or 8 flights in his contract. How
Oh,
was that for
wow.
you?
Yeah, I had those same things. I think at the time when I first got over, it was just me and my wife. We didn't have any kids yet, and
Mhm.
so I think at first maybe she bought one ticket just to because we didn't know, and then afterwards, I think I had about 2 or 3 tickets, for her to come back and forth, and
Mhm.
I was able to fly my mom over one time, um, and that's for me that's been the situation with every club I play with. I have a certain amount of tickets
Mhm.
where I can get my family at least once or twice
I mean,
over to see me.
that's big time because especially being over as long as you have, you know how it is, and okay, you're lucky to have your family with you, but a lot of guys and girls aren't that fortunate, and they have their family back home, so that homesickness is a beast. It can
Yeah,
really, and that, of course, that wears on you mentally for your game as well. So that's one of those provisions that I always thought was highly important to make sure that you had people over and joining you while you're playing in the season. Um, Besides your lifelong contract in Oldenburg, um, were your previous contracts in Israel and France, were they all one season, or did you have 1+1, or what did you have back then?
they were all one. They were all 1 year, one season, because I got drafted, and so like my idea was okay, I'm gonna play this season, and then I'm gonna go home and play the summer league and try that, and then probably about after the third year of doing it, and then you
Hmm.
realize, like you go to summer league and you go to vet camp, but the season started over here, so it's like, man, I'm passing up on a lot of money to
Right.
to go to vet camp and just to get cut in 2 weeks, and for me it was I had to think. Um, why would I do it? I wanted to play basketball. Okay, over here I'm getting an opportunity to play basketball. And I think for the NBA for me, it was an ego thing. And I had to put my ego to the side and say, hey, you can make a lot of money over here and you still get to play basketball at a high level. And I think that's when I started um, to seek a multi-year contract. And I think my first contract in Oldenburg was a 2+1 or something.
Wow.
And yeah, so I kind of went in and at the time I was getting ready to have my first son, and so it
Mhm.
was like, okay, I want my family there, and I kind of want to be in a place where we're not moving every year. And another thing about those 1 year contract is when it's over in the summer, that time from June till you get signed to your next team is really stressful,
Yeah.
and you're worried about what money you're going to get, what team is going to sign you, and so having that multi-year contract kind of put a little bit of ease on you for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that answer. And one thing I wasn't planning on asking this question, but since you brought it up, the whole thing about going to NBA camp and things like that, and then coming back overseas, I can really appreciate the fact that you recognized it early after your third season or so that that dream was dead. At some point, everybody kind of has to have that moment of clarity, and for you to say, okay, this is going to be the route I'm taking. This is going to be my journey in Europe. Takes a lot of courage because
Mhm.
you'll be overseas a long stretch at a time, and it really takes yeah, that's a lot of courage, and I really salute you for making that sound decision. And but was it difficult to do that? Was it difficult to put away that NBA dream?
It was very difficult because, my whole life, especially playing basketball, that was the dream. That was the goal,
Mm-hmm.
go to college. Okay, I'm being in the NBA. And even to get drafted, I was drafted by my hometown team, the team I grew up watching. I was on draft night, I was at home with my family and everybody
Wow.
shared in that moment. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was just like, okay, like I'm here. Then I'm like, okay, I'll go to overseas 1 year, then I'll go back. And I kept saying the same thing. And then, just you get older. I was married, had a kid on the way. I knew I wanted my wife there with me, and so we just had to talk. And I was able to just say, hey, the goal is to play basketball, and I get to make money doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, we just looked at it as an opportunity to see the world and have a different experience. And so I don't think the decision would have been so easy without my wife, but yeah, I'm definitely glad I made the decision.
Yeah, I'm sure Oldenburg is definitely glad you made that decision too. Uh, how important was it? Oh no, no, one more before that. Did you have any tryouts written into your contract?
Tryouts?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't have
Okay.
any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was fortunate.
most guys in your position probably don't have them, but for those of those players that are not on the same level where you were, they have those in their contracts, and it can be quite stressful for them if they don't know what they're walking into. So, yeah, for a guy like you, I'm sure you didn't have any. So, next question is, how important was the selection of your apartment and car? Was that a major issue for you, especially since you have a family?
It was a big issue. The car, not so much.
Mhm.
But
You
the
kind of have to
apartment,
take what you get with the car.
you gotta take what you get. Yeah, I remember uh, my first year in France, and I had went to vet camp, so I came to the team late, like December,
Mhm.
and they said, "Hey, we don't have any more automatic cars. We got a manual." And one guy took me to practice, and he showed me how to do it roughly. I didn't know how to drive it. And he said, "Okay, here you go." And then so like the whole time I'm like stalling and trying to get it. It took me, I don't know how long it took me to finally get it, but I finally got it. And but yeah, like I didn't have a say so.
Of
I didn't have a
course.
say in the car I got. So, but um, I've been lucky with apartments. I didn't have a family in my previous years before I got to Oldenburg, and so when I got to Oldenburg, they knew the situation, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty lucky here, man. It's a pretty good organization,
It is.
Oldenburg, and so
It is.
um, fortunately for me, I don't have some of the horror stories that some people have, and
I don't either,
but
man.
yeah, but I do think it's important to because it's your home,
Right.
and you want to make it as comfortable as possible, and so I do think it's important to kind of pick where you live and stuff like that.
Um, I remember my old apartment from when I was playing in Oldenburg. It was actually one of my favorite apartments that I ran as a player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, did you have a separate contract, or did you ever have a separate contract with the team rule catalog? For example, like how much fines are, how much you have to pay for certain infractions. Did you ever have one of those in your, like a separate contract from your main contract?
Not a separate contract. It was just, we had team rules and some of the fines were written in there.
Mhm.
Um,
What was
yeah.
the biggest fine
Uh,
you ever paid?
I I don't get in trouble that much, man. I follow the rules. I think the biggest fine, I think we get fined for getting a technical foul, and so I think it was like €100 or something. So
Mhm.
every time you got, but it was like it was kind of cool. Like you just put it in the pot, and then at the end of the year,
You
we
do
kind of do
something
something
with
with
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
I
yeah.
always did it
So
myself.
I kind of understood the situation, but I don't try to get in trouble too much, so I follow the rules, man.
So, one more question for this portion. Is there anything you wish you knew about contract structure when you first came out of school? I
Um,
mean, you probably relied a lot on your agent, but looking
yeah.
back on it, is there anything that you wish you had known?
I think I probably would have got more involved in like with the things you said, like flights, um, some of the bonuses. Um, I think I wish I would have knew that part more, understood
Mhm.
that part more. Um, but other than that, like the money situation is pretty cut and dry, and um, yeah, I can't think of anything that I would wish I would have knew
Um,
better.
real quick one, did you know about, or did you hear that myth that your money over here was tax free?
Okay, yes, because I played in France 2 years, and so
Oh, then you changed it.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
so everybody was like, "Oh yeah, the first year you're good." And I said, "Okay, I'm only playing France 1 year." Then I went back, and then I didn't hear anything, and then I got to Oldenburg, and they sent a letter. I was like, "Oh, you owe this and this." I was like, "Man, I thought it was scot free, man." But yeah, so I do wish I would. I guess that's one of the things you got to understand is that how the taxes work here, how much they are, and it's important to pay, especially if you're going to be in the country more than 1 year, they'll
That's
find
why
you.
I left France after 1 year. Okay, so thank you for that first portion. We're done with the major questions. Now we're going to go into overtime with some rapid fire questions, short answers
Okay.
on your part. I got 15 questions, and feel free to answer at will. Before we get started, I got to see if I can. I've never done this before. I want to add a picture, and I can't seem to find out how to do it. I wanted to put the picture up of your mural in Oldenburg so that the people could see it, and maybe I can still get it. Oh, I can't get it. Oh, come on. Old heads and technique, I tell you, man.
Yeah, you're better than me. I wouldn't even
Okay,
try to
I can't get
figure
it.
it out.
I can't figure out how to get it. So we'll just talk about that in a second, because that's my first question. How did it feel when you first found out Oldenburg would be painting a mural in your honor? And what was the feeling when you saw it for the first time?
It was amazing. Like I didn't know about it until it was a day to reveal it.
Really?
It's funny. My wife knew about it and everything, and
Wow.
because it's the way I go to the arena, like I never went that way, and so
Right.
I never was on that side of the building, and so yeah. But when I saw it, man, it's crazy because you know, like I figured, like I just play basketball. Like I don't think I do anything out of character or anything. Like I'm just here to play basketball. I play hard and I do my best, and so I'm like,
Hmm.
like I don't really think they should make a big deal out of it, but I really appreciate it, and I think Oldenburg's a special place, and that's just one of the reasons why I've been here so long.
Yo, so for those of you teammates that don't know, um, Oldenburg has rapidly grown as far as basketball is concerned. When I played there, I think it was the season 2002, 2003, and we were still playing in like a little school gym. Sometimes we played in what was it, the there was another, what was it called, like expo center kind of thing where they
Yeah,
changed it
yeah, yeah.
into the basketball thing. But since I was gone, they built not one but two big arenas in
Two
Oldenburg,
arenas. Yeah,
and outside of one of the arenas is this huge wall with Ricky in the kind of Jordan wings uh, pose and his face in the background. It's dope. When I saw that, I was like, yo, that is dope. I've never heard of any other player getting something like that, and I think it's incredible. So it really shows how the people in Oldenburg connected with you, and that's really big time. Okay, so let me get back to my question so you can get out of here. Uh, Name your all-time NBA starting five. Position doesn't matter.
position doesn't matter.
Nope.
All right. Uh, Michael Jordan. Um, I'm from Detroit, so I'm gonna say Isaiah Thomas.
Two,
Um, another Detroit guy, Grant Hill,
three.
played for the Pistons.
Brandon is prime.
Grant is prime.
Okay.
Grant
Okay.
Hill.
Okay.
Um, let's see. I'll get a four man. Four is tough. KG. I like KG, man.
All right. Energy.
And then the
Love it.
center. Uh, center is hard, but I like Shaq. Shaq
We're
was
gonna go with
dominant,
Shaq. Okay.
you know,
I got you.
kind of changed the
Um,
game. Yeah.
so since I played in Oldenburg as well, I know the Oldenburg traditions. Have you ever been on one of the groom code walks? Do you know what that is? You
No,
know it?
yeah. I haven't been on one yet.
You haven't been
We
on?
actually we actually planned on going one. I think right before then Corona hit, and so it kind of shut everything down. But I, my wife and I love Broom Cola, especially this part of the year. But I hadn't been on a tour yet.
So
That's what I got
basically,
to do before I.
what this is at least how it was in my day when I played there. We got the whole team together and we walked through these woods and stuff, and you had to drink a shot at every, I don't know, it seemed like 100 meters. And by the time they had this special restaurant, by the time you got there to eat groom coal, um,
Yeah.
um, then you were pretty blitzed. We made sure it
So
wasn't.
you, So you guys did it as a team.
Yeah, we did it as a team. We did it as a
Oh,
team. Yeah.
that's dope. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's
by the
dope.
time we got to the restaurant, then everybody was pretty lit, and we had a good time. Okay, so
Yeah.
what's the best thing about being a professional?
The best thing about being a professional,
Mhm.
uh, for me, is that I get paid to do what I love to do. Basketball has been my life, my whole life, and I get paid to do it. I get to have my family see me play a little bit, and being overseas, you get to see part of the world and meet different people, and meet different people from all walks of life that I never thought I would meet or have a chance to experience.
What was the worst thing about being professional? Or was there something that was bad as a professional?
To me, it's always hard because like you don't feel like you're complaining because you have a good job and you love to do. But for me, especially now my kids are getting older, I hate missing stuff. Like I hate when I go on the road, I'm missing their games or I miss something with school.
Hmm.
I hate that, and I hate leaving my wife to go on the road and one of the kids are sick or something like that. And
Yeah.
so for me, that's probably the biggest drawback. But I think you know people have that in other jobs too. But for me,
Right.
that's kind of the
I
hard
mean,
part and the schedule.
yeah. I
I
mean, you can
never
love your
know when my
job.
practice is.
You can always love your job and find something that is not optimal for your life.
Yeah,
It's like that in every job. I teach now, and it's the same with me. There's some things that bug me as well, but I love my job, and I can't imagine not doing
right,
it anymore. So,
exactly.
um, what was your welcome to Europe basketball moment?
Welcome to Europe.
Yeah, where you're like, oh shit, I am not in Detroit anymore.
Yeah, we played we played in Belgrade in like Euro Cup. I think it was ULEV at the time. And at halftime, everybody went out and smoked cigarettes. And so when they came back, the whole gym was full of smoke and you could smell it. And I'm like, yo, like this is
You had
another
the
level. Like I
haze,
have
you had the haze on you,
yeah,
that whole yeah,
it was crazy. Literally like the whole gym left. Everybody went outside to smoke and then it came back. It was like and I was like, okay, that's different. That was probably the first moment.
yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm a long
Um,
way from home.
Side seats, bad boy era Pistons or Fab 5 Michigan.
A team?
No, you got
I didn't hear you.
courtside seats.
Okay.
Bad boy era Pistons
Ooh,
or Fab 5 Michigan team.
I'm gonna say Fab Five, man.
That was
Fab Five was nice,
yeah,
man. I mean, I was young when I was watching them, but it'd be cool to kind of to watch them now and or just to be in front of them.
right.
Chris and Jalen being from Detroit.
Yeah.
I grew up watching those guys in high school and stuff, and so um, definitely Fab Five for me.
Yeah, I think I would have chosen that as well. Um,
Yeah.
the opposing player in the BBL in the Bundesliga that brought out the best in you. There's always one player that when you match up, you're like, I need to bring my A game today. Who was that player for you? I mean, you've been there forever, but and a lot of
Yeah.
players have come and gone. But you got one person who you're like, okay, that guy, I gotta be ready tonight.
For me, it was a guy, Casey Jacobson, that played at Bamberg.
Oh, he was tough.
Casey was tough,
Stanford,
man.
Stanford, he was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember watching him in college, and I saw him, like, man, this dude. But I don't know, man. Like he was always moving, and he was always
hmm
competitive, and he wasn't the most athletic guy, but he was so smart, and
yeah, yeah,
Bamberg was always good, and
yeah.
I always knew like I had to be ready to play when I played Casey, defensively. I wanted to make him work defensively, but that guy was always. It was a mutual respect for each other, but
hmm
I knew I had to bring it.
hmm what's your favorite German sweets or baked goods?
Man, don't make me say this in German. Franzbrötchen. It's like the
Franzbrötchen.
Franzbrötchen. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I
That's
got you.
that's my that's my jam. Anywhere I see that, I gotta get it.
um, your cup or league title? Got to choose one.
Cup.
Cup? Why?
Cup. It was a rough year before that,
Mhm.
and before that, I had never got past like the first two rounds of the cup. We've always found a way to lose it. And I remember back then, well, it was like you could host it. So when I found out that we were hosting it, I said, okay, this is my opportunity. I got to win it. And I'm not a vocal guy, but I told everybody, I'm like, all my teammates, like, yo, like, we got to get this. We got to get it. And I told everybody, I think we had a guy, Adam Chubb. He had won in Berlin. We had Julius Jenkins. Those guys had won it a couple of times. I was like, yo, please,
That's
you
the
got to
one.
do this for me.
That's
Yeah,
the
this is
one.
the one I need.
Mhm.
And so just the way the season went, and then our coach now Milana had took over like 2 weeks before, and just kind of turned the season around. And
Mhm.
it started with that cup win, and so the cup win was special to me.
Was that your first title in Europe, period? Or had you won one in another team?
No, I've only won titles here in
Yeah.
Oldenburg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's the sweet one because it was your first two.
Hmm.
Um, Give me one of your game day superstitions.
As I've gotten older, I try to get rid of them. I used to be really bad, but uh, the biggest thing is I just take a nap. I mean, that's the most consistent thing.
Mm,
But I used to be bad. Like I had to wear the same undershirt, the same tights. If I had a bad game, then I didn't wear those tights anymore. I didn't
yeah,
wear
yeah, yeah.
that. I didn't wear those socks. I had to put my shoes left foot first and
Mm.
stuff like that. But I've since gotten rid of a lot of those. But the main thing is just I try to take a nap, and it's more just to kind of visualize the game and kind of relax a little bit
I
before
told
battle, I guess.
I told our last guest, Christina, that mine was I always had two pairs of shoes with me, and you would be
Yeah,
sure that if I had a bad first half, that I was switching into another pair of
you
shoes.
switch.
That was my thing.
I've been there. Yeah, I know that
Um,
feeling.
whose German is? Oh no, before that one. What shoes are you currently playing in?
The last 2 seasons I've been rocking Pumas, man.
Mhm. How are they?
We got to hook up. I had to
Never
hook up
put a
with
pair of
Puma.
Pumas on.
Man, they're all right. With any shoes, you have to find a pair that feels right for you. And
Right.
I found a couple pair that feel good, man. And you got rock. I can't name
Yeah.
them, but uh, I had the Dreamers. J Cole shoes. Those are good. But yeah, they're light. And as you get older, you just want something comfortable.
Comfortable.
I'm not I'm not trying to be fancy and flashy out there. I'm just whatever feels good. And so, I've been rocking with Pumas lately.
Whose German is better, you or your kids?
Oh, my kids, man, I mean, they've all lived here. From day one, we've put them in the Kita and the Kripa and kindergarten. And anytime I like joke and try to say something German, like Dad, oh, you sound so American. And so there's not a
Uh,
lot of German spoke in our house.
right, right. Um, what do you look forward to the most after you retire, after this season?
Um, I think I feel like I've had my time where like
Mhm.
just almost 20 years of everybody doing, everybody's schedules are wrapped around my season,
Right.
whereas what my wife does, whether it's the kids. And so now I'm looking forward to being there for them,
Returning the favor.
whether it's supporting my wife, whatever she does, wants to do after we're done,
Mhm.
being there for my kids in whatever way. The biggest thing is also like knowing my schedule. Like if somebody was like, yo, you want to go to dinner? I'm like, oh yeah, I can go Saturday. Now I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I got practice. I don't know when practice is. I got to let the day before or something like that.
Right,
So there's little things like that I'm
right.
looking forward to.
Last one. How would you like to be remembered after this season is over? Uh, Basketball wise, after such a long and illustrious career, you still got a number of years to live, right? But how would you
Yeah.
like to be remembered as a basketball player?
As a basketball player, I think that I gave it all. Like I mean, it sounds like a such a cliche answer,
Cliche,
but
yeah.
it's yeah, but it's like I true like I just went out and played hard, and it's like to play in Oldenburg is a
It's
very
special.
this is very special. It's
Yeah,
a good feeling, and so
yeah.
to for me to be in front of the fans and like the love they give back, and then just know that I did my best and I played hard every time, and I really enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
my time here in Oldenburg.
Mm-hmm. That's great, man. So, Ricky, you hit the shot at the buzzer, man. That's it for the questions. Thank you
Awesome.
again for being a part of my format and the information you were able to provide my teammates watching. Um, Teammates, this guy right here, named Bundesliga most liked player 3 times in his career. You can see why. I mean, this guy's been in Oldenburg for 15 years, and he's a pros. He's a guy that I like as a pro to watch. And this is last season, so make sure you check him out if they come through your town in Germany, or you're able to watch it on TV. Make sure you get the Paulding show. And Ricky, man, I wish you all the best in your future. Uh, Whatever you got going on once you get back home. And also, I hope the rest of this season gets better for you, personally and team wise. That you can go out on a note that you can be proud of. I know the life. I know how it is, and yeah, man, just keep your head up and keep pushing on, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here, man.
Teammates, thanks for watching as usual. My call to action, please, if there's any information that you saw that you would like to pass on to someone else, please do that. The most important thing for me is that we get good information out there that people can learn from. And next week, the topic will be decision making. How do you decide where to play when you come over here to Europe? And I'll post the date and the time info soon. So that's it for tonight on this double header of the fourth quarter. I hope everyone had a good night, and yeah, be safe. Old head out.